guys, Mike, your host of Craft Beer Storm. And there is a storm out there. It's coronavirus, which has shut down the global economy. And we're just talking to you today about how breweries are dealing with it. Trying to make the best that we can, do the best that we can in this environment, What's essential, what's not essential. There's a lot of good stories that are coming out of these breweries, so I want to get to them. Hey, but first, have you gone on iTunes and given us a rating and review? I'd appreciate it tremendously. It takes 5 seconds. Click on those 5 stars. Everything is okay. We just get up in rankings and get the word out that we are there to give the best craft beer advice and knowledge to everybody we get from our guests. And, we just keep going and keep you abreast of what's happening in the craft beer world. And these stories are brought to you by courtesy of brewbound.com. Great place to get some stories and news. First story, Breweries, Distilleries partner to create hand sanitizer during COVID-19 outbreak. How about that? Cody Morris is reincarnating out of Code Draft Beer as hand sanitizer. Professional brewery and the son of a distillery owners, he knew that all the beer sitting in idling kegs could be distilled into hand sanitizer, which is needed for essential workers and nationwide during the COVID-19 pandemic. His parents owned Hardware Distilling in Hoodsport, Washington, and they wanted to make sanitizer, which needs to be at least 60% ethanol, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. To start the process, Morris runs beer he's collected through Hardware's distilling column still twice. So it just takes all the water out of it, and then you have concentrated alcohol, which is great. And then Morris is donating sanitizer to first responders, filling up consumers' own containers at the distillery and selling small bottles to local grocery store at a low cost. So there you go. Good stuff coming out of breweries and distilleries. Without using beer as a base, it would take 2 weeks longer to start making sanitizer from scratch. So that's a great way to take something and make it into something that's very necessary right now, hand sanitizer. Last month, the Brewers Association canceled the in-person version of its Craft Brewers Conference, which killed me, but I got some good news. Next story, which led to the stranding of entries in its biennial World Beer Cup at its warehouse in Colorado. So I'm wondering, they got all this beer in. What happened to it? I'll tell you what happened to it. With the help of Denver area distilleries, Denver Distillery and Balmer Peak Distillery, the BA converted the beer, which poured into Colorado from 2,700 craft breweries nationwide, into hand sanitizer. So they converted it. In Milton, Delaware, Dogfish Head Craft Brewery, which also distills spirits, uses gin as a base for sanitizer. Co-founder Sam Calagione said in a video op-ed today for the New York Times. Sam, I want you on the podcast. I'm talking to your office. We got to get you on, man. You name it, 30 minutes, name it, 24 hours a day. Let's do it. I'm free. Let's do it. The sanitizer created will be donated to hospitals, first responders, and police departments, which is very noble of Dogfish Head. Let's get you on. We'll talk about it. Brewers Association, next story, announces virtual Craft Brewers Conference. How about that? And releases the schedule. You're not in person, but at least it's going to go on. They're going to do it virtually. And a lot of conferences are doing that. They have canceled, but they're doing virtual conferences. You could see people. You get great information. A lot of them are doing it for free, which Brewers Association doing it for free too. So I sent them an email. Hey, Brewers Association, let me know what I can do for you. Interview people. You want me to come on, talk about whatever? That's fine. Let me know how I can help you. The Brewers Association Craft Brewers Conference will go on in 2020 at a social distance. The trade group that represents small and independent craft brewers today announced plans to hold the event virtually over the next 5 weeks from April 13th to May 15th. With many days featuring 2 live stream seminars. The BA said more than 70 industry experts will give 40 free presentations over the next 5 weeks. The BA canceled the CBC, which is supposed to take place from April 19th to the 22nd in San Antonio, Texas, on March 12th, citing concerns over the novel coronavirus disease, COVID-19. CBC, as well as Brew Expo and the World Beer Cup competition, were expected to draw more than 13,000 attendees to San Diego, including me. One of the most anticipated presentations of the year, the annual State of the Craft Brewing Industry address from BA Chief Economist Bart Watson, will take place at 4 p.m. ET on Wednesday, April 15th. So that's a great address. He's a good guy. We interviewed Bart Watson. Check out our episode. I was out at the last CBC in Denver, and I had Bart. We were talking in a room, Chief Economist. We were talking about the state of beer, and I'm interested what he says now. It's going to be interesting with this whole Corona stuff. It's really affecting breweries, all businesses, just a horrible effect on everything. Even the next story, Nevada declares breweries non-essential, despite trade associations securing national essential business designation. So in many states, bars and restaurants were among the first business forced to alter their operations to keep people from gathering in large groups. Since then, shutdowns have expanded to other non-essential businesses such as hair and nail salons, clothing stores, and gyms. I can't go to the gym. I do push-ups and I run. Try to keep in shape until the gyms open up again. Anyway, the beer industry has been deemed essential under guidelines from the Department of Homeland Security, Cybersecurity, and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, something that heads of beer trade associations work to secure. So the government says they are essential, but Nevada Governor Steve Sisolak set guidelines on March 12th outlining which business were essential and which were not. But breweries, wineries, pubs, and bars fell into the non-essential side of the line. And Nevada breweries, however, are permitted to keep brewing and selling beer for distribution. So the state's liquor stores are non-essential and closed, but grocery stores sell beer. So craft breweries can offer safe locations for beer purchasing to cull crowds at grocery stores. So they can't really sell it on site. Apparently, I guess they can't deliver it, but they can do it for distribution if they have a distributor. And even the margins on those are not really great. So, but I guess it keeps money coming in, so what are you going to do? The essential business designation has enabled breweries nationwide to remain open and sell beer to go from tap rooms and into 3-tier system. However, the loss of on-premise service, at least for the country's nearly 6,000 brew pub and taproom brewers, has been, in a word, devastating, and it is. Brew Association BA President and CEO Bob Pease added, if this goes 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, there's going to be a significant toll. And I agree with them. These breweries and taprooms, they make their money in their taprooms. The margins are great there. That's the whole thing. Get people in, sell cans in stores, make them wear, but bring them into the tap rooms. That's where it is. That's where it's at. Last story, Constellation Brands does not expect disruption of Corona and Modelo brands. Posts a $8.34 billion in sales for fiscal year 2020. So Corona, right? They have the beer called Corona, coronavirus. I don't know how that's working out. But apparently they're still making money. Constellation Brands will continue production of import brands Corona, Modelo, and Pacifico at its facilities in Mexico, despite suspension of non-essential businesses in that country. The Mexican government issued a decree Tuesday suspending all non-essential operations, including beer manufacturing, through the end of April. During the company's fourth quarter, full year 2020 earnings call, Constellation Brands CEO Bill Newlands told investors and analysts that the company's production facilities are open and operating in Mexico, the U.S., Italy, and New Zealand. And Constellation is taking employees' temperature as they arrive at the facilities in a staggered shifts to encourage social distancing. So I guess they made a deal with the Mexican government. I don't know. They're decreeing that they shouldn't be open, and then they are. So I don't know what's happening. I don't know. I don't know what's happening in Mexico. Anyway, meanwhile, Anheuser-Busch InBev owned Grupo Modelo, which produces and sells Corona, Modelo, Pacifico outside the U.S., announced Friday that it will halt production, according to CNN. Heineken NV also announced it will suspend production and distribution of its products from its 7 manufacturing facilities in Mexico, effective Sunday, according to Reuters. And Constellation net sales, encompassing its beer, spirits, and wine business, increased 3% to $8.344 billion for the full 2020 fiscal year. And as of press time, the Constellation brand's stock was up around 1% to around $132, which is down considerably from its 52-week high of $214. So the stock's been cut in half, I guess, by this whole stock market correction, right? It corrected like a third of its value. It used to be $30,000, now it's $20,000. So there you go. And that's your craft beer news for today. If you're a brewery, I feel for you. I am, we're all behind you. If there's anything I can do, Michael at craftbeerstorm.com. I used to have a brewery. And, if I can come in and help you in any way, let me know. That's what I can do for you. And, if there's any news that I can get out for you, Michael at craftbeerstorm.com. If you want to come on the podcast and talk about what you're doing, we had Kings County Distillery, actually, which I just published this Monday. Past Monday. They're doing the same thing with Sanitizer. I heard it from them. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. So they're doing it, and they're giving it away and selling it, I guess. And it's a great thing, that brewers can do for the community, society. Yeah, that's the story, guys, for your craft brew news. And, stay safe. Take care of your families. We're going to get through this. And we will see you on Monday with another great episode. We're going to be interviewing somebody else, a great brewer or distiller. But we will talk to you then. Take care.